Imagine having the same strategic mindset as the rulers who dominated Europe, CEOs who built billion-dollar empires and leaders who shaped the course of history. In 1513 one man wrote a book so controversial, so brutally honest about power that it's still banned in some places today. That book The Prince by Nicolle Machiavelli. For over 500 years kings, presidents and business leaders have studied his work. Why? Because Machiavelli understood the darkest fundamentals about human nature that remain true to this day. He saw past the polite facades of society and revealed how power really works regardless of what field your line of work is and regardless of your gender, religion and race. If you don't want to be weak, you should study Machiavelli's ideas too, even if you're not going to implement them to overpower others. You should know the concepts to defend yourself against them, the very least, as the ancient saying goes, better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener at war. In 1513 Machiavelli wrote The Prince, the most influential book on power and strategy ever written. What he wrote wasn't just another political manual, it was a survival guide for the real world. He distilled his observations into 8 principles so powerful that they're still used by the most relentless leaders today. Principle 1. Master the art of adaptability. Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times. Success isn't about having one perfect strategy, it's about being flexible enough to change your approach when circumstances change. Think about companies like Netflix, which started as a DVD rental service but adapted to become a streaming giant. The world changes and those who adapt survive. No matter how good your plan A is, always have a plan B and C. Principle 2. Understanding fear versus love. Machiavelli said it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Now, this might sound harsh, but in today's professional or corporate context Machiavelli's insight is remarkably relevant. He observed that when people merely like their leader, they choose when to show their loyalty. They might miss deadlines, deliver subpar work or prioritize other relationships over their commitments, but when they respect and fear their leader's authority, they think twice before underperforming because they know there will be consequences. Real-world example, think about Steve Jobs. He wasn't known for being the nicest boss, but his demanding standards pushed Apple to create revolutionary products. People feared disappointing him, and that fear drove excellence. Principle 3. The Fox and the Lion Principle. One must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. This is arguably Machiavelli's most brilliant insight. He's telling us that success requires 2 seemingly opposite qualities. The fox represents intelligence, cunning, and the ability to spot dangers. The lion represents strength, courage, and the power to overcome challenges. In today's world, this means being smart enough to spot opportunities and threats while having the strength to act decisively when needed. You can't be one-sided and expect to be a good leader, decision maker, or problem solver. Look at Elon Musk's handling of Twitter X's acquisition. He showed the cunning of a fox and how he positioned himself initially before the elections. Everyone thought acquiring Twitter was stupid, then he showed the strength of a lion in making dramatic changes. Once in control, he backed up a president with his new platform, and now he's twice richer than before. Principle 4. The power of perception. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. Machiavelli understood something crucial about human psychology. People judge based on appearances. This isn't about being fake, it's about understanding that managing your image is as important as developing your actual skills. In today's digital age, this principle is more relevant than ever. Whether you're building a personal brand or leading a team, muggers on the street think twice before attacking a confident man who looks straight ahead. They look for weak targets with headphones on and scrolling at their phones. Principle 5. Strategic action versus force. Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. Here's a principle most people misunderstand. Machiavelli isn't advocating for dishonesty, he's teaching efficiency. Why waste resources on direct confrontation when you can achieve your goals through strategy and smart positioning? In business terms, this might mean finding market niches rather than competing head-on with established players. And in a corporate environment, it means preparing for an argument with some form of leverage or analysis that would allow you to win the discussion. A modern example of this principle is how Toyota entered the US market instead of competing directly with American manufacturers on large cars. They identified an untapped niche for smaller fuel-efficient vehicles. This deceptive entry point eventually led them to become the world's largest automakers. Principle 6, the importance of timing. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Machiavelli emphasized that timing is everything. Being right isn't enough, you need to act at the right moment. He observed that many people eventually reach the right conclusion, but those who succeed are the ones who realize and act on it first. Principle 7, managing your circle. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. This tip is particularly relevant in today's world. Your success is directly influenced by the people you surround yourself with. Machiavelli advises to judge people not just by their words but by the quality of their network and associates. Principle 8, the art of decision-making. I'm not interested in preserving the status quo, I want to overthrow it. While this sounds revolutionary, Machiavelli is actually teaching us about innovation and decisive action. He observed that maintaining the current situation is often more dangerous than taking calculated risks to improve it. Machiavelli's genius wasn't in teaching manipulation, it was in showing us how the world really works. Stripped of idealistic illusions, his principles have endured for 5 centuries because they speak to fundamental truths about human nature and power dynamics. Whether you're building a career, running a business, or simply trying to achieve your goals, these insights can help you make better strategic decisions. Now that you understand these timeless principles, which one will you apply first? Share in the comments below, and if you gained any wisdom from my video, give back some love and subscribe. See you in the next one, and remember, the path to true wisdom is a journey before destination.